Good boy. Good boy. Relax. Stay down here. Wait. Wait. What's wrong, puppy? Wait. You know who that is? You just seen her. Come on.
I need direction. I mean, at the house, I'm trying to see, like, in public, it's like this. He's not calm. He's not confident at all. In public, forget it. At home, we're making little progresses.
Transitions are really hard.
You know, him dealing
Someone
with other
coming
dogs.
in, someone leaving, changing location, being in the car.
Yeah.
But if it's just us or just Dan, he will listen and he's very well behaved.
My main thing is out in public, I want him to come when I call him. He doesn't know when it's an emergency. He doesn't, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't know what's happening. He needs to be listening to me. And I can't focus him in when it's anybody other than just me and him. You know, in the car, he sees something and then has an anxiety attack or whatever, freaks out for about 5 minutes, really high pitch barking, you know what I mean? He's freaking out, trying to get out the seatbelt and shit. But that's not necessarily constant. But see, like right now, you're cool, bro. Say hi, chill out. Like, I want him to just get to this point faster. What you doing, bro? You over here tripping. Relax, bro. Relax.
So let's try this. I'm going to have you
sit. Good boy.
clip your leash to his flat collar. And do you mind if I take the leash? Please do. Give me a little pressure, please. Anything else?
There's a lot of specific stuff, but the general idea of how you see him and how he's all over the place, that's what we're trying to work with.
The issue here is lack of formal structure that he understands. I am picking up some anxious energies, most likely due to overstimulation, which is when you said he doesn't know how to turn off. Overstimulation is the brain's inability to turn off. Okay, so what happens is they get frustrated because he's needing something to try to pacify that the brain's movement. So that's why I asked to take him, because with you saw how he started pulling the leash and you started going over there and over there, right? Is when I took him, I haven't said anything to him. I just started asserting myself. Okay, and it took me like 8 or 10 times. But I'm not telling him sit.
No.
What I was telling him to do was relax. Okay? But this here, the whining and the peaking here, is the brain wanting to move again. So then if he were to get up, I would counter him and then he'd lay down again. And the longer I were to have him, the more calmer you would see him be. Okay? So what you're lacking here in your training is the don't do that. Everything is keep doing that, but no, don't do that. Does that make sense? And that's what positive reinforcement falls short, is that they don't use corrections. Like outside of what happened with Harley, is harnesses provoke frustration.
I'm sorry, there was a dog.
I saw actually. I was
The big, beautiful dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Harley. The reactivity here, so the harnesses promote reactivity, okay? Harnesses provoke reactivity because it creates resistance, because it puts pressure on the chest. Now you have a front clip harness, so these are called no pull harnesses, which is an oxymoron because harnesses are meant for pulling. And what happens is it deters their pulling power because it deviates it to the side.
Right.
But ultimately, like I've seen dogs walk on their hind legs because they're pulling so hard.
He's been there several times.
Right. So harness is also part of the problem. Okay, so that's why I said clip them to the normal flat collar. I could make it work, but it's just easiest to just have control over the head. And all I'm doing is putting pressure on him to put him in a sitting position, which is really just telling him to relax. So we use prong and e-collar. Prong collar would have been your best tool. And e-collar for me is the ultimate tool because that's what gets me off leash reliability. Okay, in my opinion, it's the only tool that can guarantee or get to as close to a guarantee of off-leash control as possible. Because with food, if he's off the leash and there's something more rewarding or he's under too much stress, how are you gonna get your dog back, right? Prong collar, same thing. If you remove the leash, it's a great tool on leash, but how do you get your dog back? That's where e-collar comes into play. So here, with a case like this, the first thing I would cover is the heel command, how to walk on a leash. The reason why we always cover that first is heel tends to fix 60 to 70% of problems, okay? Overstimulation issues, anxiety issues, nervous issues, fear issues, reactivity issues, because it's one, teaching the brain how to turn off, because he has to turn off the brain to everything else to focus on you, okay? The second thing is, it's not the obedience that's helping Jack, right? It's the consequence. It's the contraction. It's the discomfort. The e-collar is what I call like a bite on a button. So you're nipping and biting at him for things that you disagree with, and that's what's actually calming him down. Okay, it's not the heel, it's not the sit, it's not the stay, because if that was the case,
We wouldn't be dealing with
Yeah.
exactly, right? So that's where positive reinforcement falls short. It actually stimulates the brain. And you already have a dog that struggles with stimulation issues as it is. Because food puts dogs into drive. So when I saw you outside and you said like, find it, and he went into this like kind of whoa, right? And then Harley, the stress of Harley overrode the situation, right? And then same thing here, when I saw you dropping the food, he's, right? And you see him get very stimulated, that's actually speeding the problem. What you're needing is like, just chill. You know, like I've not said anything to this dog other than or two, right? And then just touch. So in training, we have three primary methods. We have food only, we have prong collar, gentle leader, and then we have e-collar, okay? Food only has the lowest ceiling in terms of success. I know people talk about it like it's the greatest thing ever. If it was, we wouldn't be here.
But it's all we've been doing and it's not working.
Yes, I get this conversation all the time. If positive reinforcement worked as well as they tout it does, there would be much more better trained dogs out, right? Because it's the most widely practiced, widely accepted, and approved method of training, right? But it's all just BS and lies. Prong collar, better, but limited by the leash. You have to have that leash on, okay?
Right.
Remote collar, on or off leash. We have a means of control. I pick up some anxiety, okay? Anxiety is a stress response. So don't be surprised if you start remote collar, is you're gonna see an influx in anxiety, okay? Because e-collar is a stressor, but it's a controlled stressor, okay? So we can actually use negatives to build confidence, okay? So if I put him under stress and he starts to get anxious and maybe he tries to flee or he tries to like shut down and stuff, e-collar is the only tool that can make a dog make the decision to counter themselves, okay? Because if I did a prong collar and he tried to run away from me, I'd have to physically drag him.
Yes.
Right? E-collar, he's gonna make the decision to not run away, okay?
Yes.
So what happens is, the brain goes into, this is too much for me, I'm not gonna move, right? For example, my collar goes to 127. Let's say we're operating at 20. He shuts down, 20, 25, 30, 35, and I keep going up, right? Everybody has a breaking point. Finally, he hits 60, and he goes, all right, I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna have to do it. He moves forward, pressure disappears. Okay, so it can make the brain move forward by decision, okay, by his choice. And that's actually where the confidence is built. So what we have to do is nip and bite at him, increase that pressure until eventually he decides to make that decision to move forward, okay? And then once he moves forward, we ease up the pressure, we go down, we try again, okay? So whenever, if you were to lock up and stuff, so that confidence you're talking about, right, is potentially, we can build it there, okay? But expect to see some kind of signs of stress in the beginning, shaking, salivating, panting, all that stuff, like all this here, right?
No, we're used to it. Yeah, that's nothing that we haven't
So
seen
once
before.
you get them over it, it should all go away, okay? But you have to keep exposing them.
So this is the resistance.
He's spiky.
And I think every single thing that you said, it makes total sense for this dog.
I think
Every
that's
single thing.
totally what we're missing too. I feel like sometimes I don't know if I can say no to him. Like I don't know that he understands no.
Well, no, he doesn't, because no is human language, right? So he needs no in his language, which would be physical contact, right? So like right now, I'm technically telling him no, but this is a subtle no. Whereas again, a dog would just bite them. So we can teach them to associate what no means by applying an aversive after it. So then he knows, oh, when I hear the word no, it means I'm going to get corrected on the remote, or it means I'm going to get corrected on the prong collar, whatever tool that is that you're using. But the world is just going in this whole, it's abuse thing if you discipline your dog. And I go, dogs bite each other. What are you talking about? That's how you discipline. And like,
you see how it is.
questions so far about this stuff?
If it wasn't the collar and you were doing the Caesar thing where you do the kind of thing, sometimes he might nip back. It cannot happen with the e-collar.
Excuse me.
Is that,
Yes and
are we
no.
teaching him to be aggressive?
If you corrected him and he nipped you back, do you think that's aggression?
Kind
I
of.
wouldn't think so.
Why not?
Because he didn't start it.
Okay.
He's responding.
Responding, and what is that response?
That's like everything that you've been saying. He's just doing what he knows to do.
Okay.
He said everything is off. I should
He didn't like you doing it, so he did it back to you.
Right. He's like, what the fuck is this?
You guesses. Okay. He does something I don't want him to do. I correct. And he's correcting me back. Who are you to correct me? Is what that conversation is. Aggression is every time someone walks in the house, he bites them, right? Every time you go near his food, he bites you. That's aggression. Like right now, if he did that, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just some dude that took the leash from me 20 minutes ago and started asserting myself. And this happens as young as 2 months. When people try to correct their puppies, and the puppy like snaps at them or growls at them or whatever, and they're like, oh my God, I'm making the puppy aggressive. I'm like, no, the puppy's saying, even though they're 2 months, who are you to try to correct me?
And they just won if you stopped.
So you
They
do it
just
again?
won.
You just-
And then you just taught them that if they come back at you, they can do what the hell they want to do. You just taught them that.
But people go, oh, that's a 2-month-old puppy. Dogs bite their puppies,
Yeah.
right? So that's the whole spiel, right? I have a Doberman here. She's 4.5 months. She's here for a 4-week board and train. I posted a video of her on e-collar training. Dog's phenomenal. And everybody's like, oh my God, those methods are too harsh for that puppy. I'm like, maybe the way you would use them is too harsh. But if you look at the puppy, she's having a fun time. She's engaged, she's having fun, she likes the pressure, she wants to work, right? But people, the way they think, they just don't understand it.